Hi everyone, this is Brittany from Teach Me ABA, and I'm so excited to continue on our Task List 5 series for the BCBA and those who are studying for the big exam. Up next, we're going to be talking about E-3, and this is assessing behavior. We're going to talk about behavior analytic assessment to start. So prior to starting with any intervention or making any clinical recommendations, a behavior analyst needs to conduct an assessment. So actually in section C, we covered measurement, data display, and interpretation when observing a target behavior. And in the upcoming videos, keep an eye out because we're going to talk about section F, which really goes into more detail about behavioral assessments. So when considering ethics with our assessments, we have to have an obligation to our client. We always talk about this, right? They're the main priority for us. So whenever we collect, we display data, or we use data to guide behavior analytics services, the methods that allow us to do so need to be in the best decisions for the services to this client. That's always key. So medical consultation. Often problematic behaviors for our clients that may result in something that can be happening physiologically within them, such as some sort of illness or other diagnosis that we're unaware of. So should a behavior analyst be under the impression that a client is affected from said medical or biological factor, it's our responsibility as behavior analysts to recommend to families that they should seek medical consultation. Because again, it's outside of our scope of knowledge. You don't want to touch anything medical or physiological unless you have the proper degrees and certifications, of course. So all medical problems need to be ruled out prior to implementing a behavioral treatment. For instance, some chromosomal disorders can lead individuals not being able to tell whether or not they need to use the restroom. So this would be a critical piece of information that you would need to consider as being a part of a behavioral treatment, as you would likely recommend that the client would maintain an interval schedule going to the restroom and avoid accidents, rather than trying to help this client or this individual understand or label the fact that they need to go. This would be impossible for them with this medical diagnosis. Now, behavior analytic assessment consent is the next section we're going to talk about. And even before conducting an assessment, once again, behavior analysts are required to explain every aspect of the assessment process before they begin. So you need to talk about the behavioral tools that you're going to use, the other individuals that may be part of this assessment, and how the data is going to be used. As previously stated, the consent needs to be provided at the onset of this relationship to the client or the stakeholder in the form of a written approval before starting. Explaining assessment results. What this means is that behavior analysts need to disclose the results of their assessment in a manner that's understandable and presented with graphs in a way that is accessible to your client and their stakeholders. Last but not least, we're talking about consent to client records. So written consent is also needed for any records that a behavior analyst must obtain during this assessment process. It's also important to communicate which records will be communicated, with who, how, and why this information might be shared. A good example of this might be any other sort of medical records that you may ask a parent, because again, this is a good and essential piece of information that you're going to need moving forward with your behavior analytics services. So I hope that I've given you a great amount of information when talking about the compliance code. If you have any questions or comments, please link them below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you next week.